We're going to help you have some great fun in the 2022 RICOH THETA Getting Started Challenge by helping you to modify the panorama widget, which is used for the 360 images. On GitHub at Theta 360 Developers, I'm going to scroll down to the Take Save Display, click it. Then I'm going to fork it here, upper right hand corner. And then I'm going to leave it maybe the same name here. Maybe I'll call it TSD modified. And I'll create the fork. I'm going to clone on the fork. So on Windows, I'm going to right click. So I'm going to connect my computer to a physical device, Pixel 2. This is running Android 12. I'm using screen mirroring software, so going forward on the left-hand side, it is the physical phone. I'm going to open up VS Code and then open up the folder that I just cloned down. I'm going to press Get Packages or Flutter get. I'm not going to update BLoC. I have my Pixel 2, this is the physical device in the lower right hand corner, is selected. So let's click on main.dart first. Run without debugging. Okay, we'll first test it out. So I'll click on the image, and in the previous video I downloaded these from the internet. We can show you how. I've saved it into downloads. This is a picker, right? So if you don't have it here, it's on this tab downloads. You might be in images first and you may not see it, but because I downloaded it, I saved it to downloads. And so let's select one of the images. It's going to come up, and then we have this type of view, which is scrollable with the hand, but not by the sensor orientation. So let's go ahead and first let's do that in the main.dart here. So there's the panorama widget right here. And you can see the properties. One of them is let's set the anim speed and the sensor control. We'll sensor control orientation, and let's restart it. So hopefully now when I select it, we have the sensor control with the physical phone here. So let's go ahead and do the hotspots. Okay, to make this thing easier to work with, I'm going to start breaking out the individual classes into separate files. So let's create a folder called view, and then we'll just pop open some individual panorama widget.dart. We'll copy it, cut, paste, do control dot on the stateless widget. For the file, we'll grab the dart.io. Panorama, it's the panorama package that we are using. And within main.dart, the panorama widget has now been moved to a separate file. So we will import it. And we'll just make sure that it still works. Okay, looks like it's still working. Let's continue on. Let's break out the widget image, or the image widget. Follow the same process. At the top, I'm going to import the material package. The file is from Dart.io, and the panorama widget is from the panorama widget file that we just created. So back in main.dart, we can now import it. We'll reload it again and make sure that it works. Okay, looks like it's still working as expected. Okay, so I'll break out this column. I'll extract as a widget. Extract widget, and I'll call it home screen. And we'll paste it into the file called home screen. Oh. I'm going to wrap the column in a block builder to make sure this we can get the state. And this is the theta block. Okay, now with the block builder on, we can access the blocks in the state. So I'm going to cut it out and drop it onto the home screen here. Okay. And home screen, we will do control dot and use a const constructor. We're going to go to the repository for Zibao who wrote a panorama plugin. So under his repos here, next is panorama example lib main.dart, and he's got an example here of using a hotspot. So we're just going to use one of these hotspots. Just copy it. Okay, so for the panorama, we will drop in a hotspot. And close the list. Whoa. Okay, so he's got this thing called hotspot button here, which we don't have yet. So let's go back to his GitHub repo. And he's got this hotspot button. So drop it in. And let's first test it to see if we have the hotspots. Okay, we got the hotspot here. It's a little small. We're going to break it out. So I selected the widget. I'm going to extract the widget, call it Hotspot button. And now it's a separate widget here. I'm going to cut it out and put it into a different file. Okay, that. Let's require the text. Okay. Hotspot button.dart. We'll paste it in, and we'll import material. We control dot. Quick fix, move to end. Okay. Oh, on our hotspot, we just need to specify and then we will make it bigger. Maybe explore to get to a new image. And let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, we're going to the hotspot button now, and so we've got the icon here. We can make the size a bit bigger, maybe like 200, and we'll add the text here. Style, text style. We'll add the size, maybe something like 36. And color, let's make it white. Just using the material color. See whether we can increase the size of our little hotspot. Okay. It's decently big. Let's make it a bit bigger. So I just saved it. I hadn't saved this panorama widget file, and it's looking pretty good. So what we want. So let's try to jump it to another scene. So I think the fastest way to do it is I'm just going to make another panorama widget here and just copy it over. This one would be for a network-based image, panorama, maybe network, and call it .dart. I'll just copy the entire contents of this thing. And won't use a file picker for this one. Okay. And let's grab the image from the network for this as a test. So in the forum, there's a 2022 Getting Started Challenge. And right at the top, there's different types of media. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to grab the URL. This is from Chris Converse. Thanks, Chris. All right, so I've got, just as a test, right? And we'll put this in, whoops. What's going on? Oh, it just wants it to be at the end. Okay, let's reload our app and see where we're at here. Okay, here's our explore the next thing. So I just clicked on it. And nothing's happening here. Okay, maybe I should call it Panorama Network. I'll call this one Panorama Network. And then in the panorama widget, under the hotspot, let's activate the button. Let's try navigator.push. Navigator.push. We'll use a material page route. Material page route. Let's call it Panorama Network. Okay. And see whether it works. Okay, I'll try again. Okay, just connected to the internet. Let's try it again. So we have our little image, the explore button, and it goes to the next 360 image here. Okay, looking good so far. So under lib, I'm going to create a folder called data. And I'll just create a file called URLs for each of the URLs that we will use. And we'll store the URLs in here. So let's go back to our web page. And each of these has a URL. So for each of the files, let's just drop it in here and separate it by a comma. So Jason Sievers, Funky Taco. And we'll just keep going down. Icon Tempo Toyo. So we just copy it and drop it in. Okay, so in the block section here, I'm going to state, and I will attempt to make a int, maybe call it URL index. And I'll add it into the constructor. Where is it? It's by the end. URL add it to the copy with. Oops. Okay, I'll go to the event and I will create a class to increment the event. Class increment URL index event extends theta event. Inside the block, I'll use on increment URL event emit async, and I'll have it emit URL index, and we have access to the state URL index +1. So let's go back to the view and our panorama network image. So let's first wrap it. We should put it here. I'm going to wrap it with a block builder, theta block. Do control dot, import it, control dot, import the blocks. And then I should be able to access it from here in the state dot URL index. So have the index. And then I have the URLs. Okay. Should this be one, oops, expected to find, no. Okay, so it's not incrementing it right now, but let's just test it and make sure that it can get to the first image URL in the list. Okay. Yeah. Let's add some more. So when you tap on it, we'll copy the navigator from here. Let's see. So we push to a new thing, and before we do that, we'll increment it. Context.read is the name of the block. And we're going to add an event. Name of the event is increment URL index event. We will test it. Okay, explore. Nice. Okay. Looks like it's working. Okay. I'm going to change the URL. So I went through the form and I put the URLs that I wanted in here. And so we should be able to go through it. I'm going to try to cache this here. So instead of just this image.network, what I'll do is I will use the cached network image provider. And this is in the cached network image package, I think. Flutter pub add cached network image. Okay, let's give it a go. And there it is. Okay, hopefully it'll speed it up now on faster reloads. But let's test out our app again. Okay, so I had to hot stop it and let's try it out here. Here's our Explorer. Yeah, it looks like it's working here. Nice. Very nice. Okay. I'm going to create another event to zero out the index when it reaches the maximum length so we can rotate it again. So class zero URL index event extends theta event. Then within the block here, we'll just copy this. We'll call it zero URL index event, and we will set the URL index back to 0. So in our network hotspot, we can set up an if statement here. So if state dot URL index is less than URLs dot length minus 1, then we can increment it, else we can zero it. Context dot read theta block, add event to the stream, and the event is 0 URL index. Is it -1 or -2? I think it's -2. Let's see. Toyo's beautiful shot. Next, nice, beautiful retreat. Taco, funky taco place. This is Osaka, I think. Night sky, beautiful. This is Tokyo Disneyland. Hard Rock Cafe. Wow. It's a fantastic shot by Toyo. Underwater 360 off the coast of Tahiti, off the coast of the island Moorea. Another shot off the coast of Moorea. Scientific diving thanks to the National Science Foundation grant. More diving underwater with 360 cameras to help the Earth environment. Okay, looks like it's going back. So I think it's working here. So to get the code and the media and more information on how to enter the challenge and have fun, you can learn Flutter, experiment with BLoC, learn about 360 images. It doesn't have to be this complex. You can make it even more complex or less complex. It doesn't really matter. As long as you take a shot at it and you post the results of your experiment or your project into the forum here, you'll be entered into a lottery. It's just a random luck of the draw. to win a beautiful RICOH THETA SC2 or $300 cash equivalent value. Have a great day and see you in the forum.